Reach for the stars, everyone. I'm the one and only Galaxy Whisk, and ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present my very first requested video. Nitwit's World, this is for you. This is Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series, The Facts. Now, for those of you who don't know what the heck Klonoa is, well, let's just say it's a platformer game. A puzzle platformer game, as it were. But let's just say this is unlike any platformer game you've ever seen before. I know it might not look like much right now. After all, our tile screen doesn't even have music, though if we press plus, we get the main themes from both games. And as you can see, there's different styles to both of them. Now, the Phantasy Reverie series here contains brand new remasters, like full-on remasters of the original Klonoa Door to Phantomile and its sequel, Klonoa 2 Lunatea's Veil. Now, this is going to be a bit more unusual for me in terms of a video because I really don't want to spoil these games in any way. Trust me. Let's just say there is absolutely a story to spoil in these games. Unlike your, Mario series and stuff where the story just kind of takes a back seat and doesn't mean anything. Let's just say that if you think for a second that these are just your average platformer made for kids, which by the way, stuff like that isn't made for kids, it's made for families. Just want to get that out there. Don't know where all that skewing happened. But if you think for a second this is an average one of those, oh baby, are you in for a surprise of your life when you play these. But Klonoa was a series from back in the PlayStation day, as Door to Phantomile was originally a PlayStation game, and the music you are hearing right now, and all of the music in this game, is ripped right out of their original releases. Not remastered, not remade in any way. The games, on the other hand, well, that's a different story. And if we go in the Door to Phantomile here, we'll see exactly what I mean by that. Now, I am going to be booting up a new file because I've done a lot of work on these games, and Spoiler City, if we go to my files. So, yeah. But for those of you who might think that this looks a little familiar, this version right here is based strongly off of the Wii version of the game, but using the assets of the original PlayStation 1 version from way back when. No, we'll get to that. I didn't know it would actually go to a menu. To a demo, sorry. But if we go to new game here, ignore that. Now, slight spoiler, once you complete the games on whatever difficulty, you will unlock a brand new hard mode. For all you people who think that, oh, I'm a master at Klonoa, what do I need this for? Haha! I'm about to shake up your world a little bit because we have Easy, which, as you can see, gives you a lot more health, gives you 2 additional hearts. Oh, I didn't even notice that. It takes 3 hits to take down a heart, and you have infinite lives. This is for people who just can't really handle older games. Normal retains the original difficulty, which in Klonoa 1 gives you 3 hearts, and you lose half your heart every time you get hit. In Klonoa 2, that's been bumped up to 3 hits and you're dead. And you start with 3 lives, and if you get game over, you're back to the beginning. But hard mode gives you 1 heart. That's right, it's the no damage challenge, as it says right there. I can't even believe they did this. You madmen! And you get only 1 life. I assume there are probably no extra lives. To be honest, I have not tried hard mode. I'll eventually try it, but whew, it scares me. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there are no extra lives, which means you die, it's back to the beginning of the stage for you. Don't worry, it should save its progress after every stage, so you don't have to worry about replaying an entire stage that you already completed, just one you didn't. But, since I'm a Klonoa veteran, we're going for normal, same as what I did before. And we get Klonoa Door to Phantomile.
Strange. Sometimes I know I've had a dream, but I just can't remember it. Where do these dreams go? I do remember this one dream so clearly, as if I saw it with my own eyes.
Now, for those of you who don't know, the Klonoa games are famous for having their own language. In this first one, we have Phantomilian, and in the second one, we have Lunatean. And yes, that is how you pronounce both worlds, Phantomile and Lunatea. Don't even try to correct me on that. I've confirmed this with the game itself. If you listen closely to some of the words, you can hear them say those words precisely in both games. But we see Klonoa finding a strange ring in the sand, and out pops a ring spirit named Hupo. Now I know this seems very childish, child-friendly and stuff, but well, let's just say it doesn't stay that way. Think Kirby series. This series actually has a fair amount in common with Kirby, though it also is significantly harder by default. So, just throwing that out there. But yeah, the dream turned into a nightmare. But their meeting was real. As you can see, load times on the Switch are not too bad. And if for some reason you aren't into the cutscenes, you can skip them by holding the start button or using the trigger button to speed it up like so, if you're into that. Now, I won't read these things out for this video. If I were to do a Let's Play, which I very well might do that in the future, I would do it. So, again, at first glance, this seems like your standard run-of-the-mill platformer. However, you'll quickly discover, if you try to jump on an enemy, you're just gonna get yourself hurt. What you actually need to do is use your wind bullet. It doesn't damage these moves, as they're called, but it picks them up and inflates them. Now, inflated enemies can be thrown at one to beat one, or you can use it to double jump. Additionally, you can also fly a little bit by holding the B button at any point while you're in the air. It doesn't last very long at all, but it can save you if you're if you time it just right. But this starts out real simple, but definitely doesn't stay that way. And since it's a 2.5D platformer, while you do move left and right, there are 3D elements. Hey, don't hit me, Moo. Oh my gosh, stop! Okay, so you see that Nugapoko egg in the background? You can turn towards it and throw stuff at it. And voila! That will come into play throughout the game. So, I'm just going to keep moving. We've got different types of enemies. Whoops. Like this one, which, whoa. Okay, me. Which allows you to fly up for a short period of time. And then there's collectibles like these trapped citizens here, which if you pop their thing, you'll get them. There are 6 trapped citizens per world in the first game, and they're replaced with moment doll pieces in the second game. You'll see what that's about later. There are also 150 dream stones in every stage, precisely. And if you want 100% this game, that involves getting every single dreamstone. That heart replenishes a full heart, so it would replenish 2 hits if I had taken 2 hits. And there are golden ones that replenish all your hearts. These are checkpoint timers, which obviously allow you to restart from where you were. But as you can see, this game is absolutely gorgeous. Now, people who are familiar with the PlayStation 1 original will probably note that this looks absolutely nothing like that. Wow, how did I mess that up? But like I said, this is... Wow, what is going on? I guess I need to double jump on it. That's fine. But yeah, as you can see, double jumping sends the enemy underneath you as well, which can be very useful. The moves are like your typical grunt enemies. Like Goombas and Wild D's, Motobugs, you know the drill. As you can see, even on the Switch, things run extremely well. And literally, I only had like frame drops at one point in the game that were really noticeable, and that was towards the very end when a lot of enemies spawned at once. But that's about it. So we'll let this cutscene play a little bit as we get introduced to a new character here. And this is a good time to talk about the text, the script that has been written for this game. Now, it's heavily based off of the original, but eagle-eyed players will notice it's not identical to the original. That's right, they actually decided to rewrite a few things to make the best translation of the game possible. And this is a far cry better than the Wii's translation, which, well, basically made everyone extremely inviting to Klonoa, no matter what. Also, it was English voice acted, which wasn't as bad as you might think. Well, for the most part, there's, let's just say that people who know Klonoa well, the moment he opens his mouth, oh, heads are gonna roll. Let's just put it that way. But they're talking about the Moon Kingdom and the Diva Lafitte. Now, remember, this is the first game, so you're not actually supposed to know who any of these characters are. You'll learn as you go. But Baloo here seems to be wanting to get up to the Moon Kingdom where the Diva Lafitte lives, so that he can visit her. And possibly more. He seems to have a thing for Lafitte, shall we say. Now, I'm gonna pause for just a moment here to show a few things, because if you go in the options here, we have a few settings here. You can change the difficulty at any time. You can choose whether you want the autosave on or not, or if you want to manually save. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but maybe for that classic gaming feel, I don't know, turn vibration off. You can turn on a tutorial, which makes various windows pop open. You know those windows you've been seeing during loading screens and stuff? It would make those show up as things happen. But that basically tells you literally everything about the game in the moment and gives you no chance to really experiment around to figure it out yourself, sometimes straight up giving the solution. So I would only recommend doing that if you really don't think you're gonna be able to figure out this game, because otherwise it's gonna overload you. Now, this pixel filter I want to show off briefly, because if you turn that on, as you can see, we have this authentic pixel looking look for a more classic game feel. And rather than it just being a filter, they actually took the time to make this look authentic to the stuff. We've got all the type of shading you would expect from a classic game. And as you can see, it plays just fine when you do that, and it's really neat that they actually decided to do something like this. Now, as you saw there, I had two paths I could take, but this one leads to some extra stuff. So it pays to explore, because you never know what you'll find. Like, I would have missed this if I hadn't gone exploring, for example. That's the full hero I was mentioning. Let's turn that pixel filter off for a moment. You get the idea. You can choose to display a clear time, which shows how long you're taking through a stage, and you can try to beat your best clear time. But I think I'll leave that on. Why not? And then there's select costume here. Now, when you get the game, you have the choice between normal and Moo impersonator set here. Which, if we turn that on... Oh, I must restart to change costumes? Okay, well, I won't do that. I'll show that in the next stage then. But it would allow me to look like this. However, if you get the special bundle, you will be able to also use the Joker mask, the Pac-Man hat, the Don-chan mask, which of course Pac-Man is from Pac-Man, Don-chan is from Taiko no Tatsujin, or you can also refer to him as Don Wada, that's what I like, or even just Don. And Prince from Kamui Damacy, sorry. Three of Bandai Namco's biggest franchises. But yeah, if you want Klonoa to look different, you can totally do that. And in Klonoa 2, instead of Joka, we have Tat, which is the follower, the second hand to the main villain of that game. As Joka is the second hand to the main villain Gaius. In this game, Tat is the second hand to the main villain of Klonoa 2's antagonist, Leorina. So, yeah. If you want to do that, that can be done. You can adjust the stuff that you hear in any way you want, of course. And while we have this cool little pixel thing of all the different citizens that we have here for this one, if you go to Klonoa 2, you'll see one that has like moves in a choir. It's pretty cool that they actually decided to do that. Those are artwork from the original games. You can even change your control style. So right now I have B or X to jump and A or Y to shoot, which is just fine for me. But if for some reason you want to change that up, you can have A or Y to jump and B to shoot. Or even just make your own control setup if you so choose. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but hey, it's an option. As for this player 2 you're seeing here, I haven't actually tested it out, but in Klonoa 2, you can play as one of the characters, Popka, by activating the second player. This was in the original game I'm referring to. This allowed that player to press a button to cause Klonoa to super jump. He would have to cool down after doing it, and then once that cooldown meter happened, you can use it again. Think of it as a way to help a player who is just really struggling with the platforming. You never know. Having a super jump that can be triggered could be just what you need to pull it off. But for the Phantasy Reverie series here, they decided to apply that to the original game as well by having Hupo be able to come out of the ring and help you. So Hupo's doing double duty as being the ring spirit of the ring who makes it so that Klonoa can use the wind bullet, because yes, a being needs to be inside the ring in order to power it so that Klonoa can use the wind bullet. That's actually a story element. It's focused on a lot more in Lunatea's Veil. But yeah, now we've done that, I'll just continue to show this off. And as you can see, this just looks amazing. We have those coins are one-ups. And you get one-ups for getting 50 dream stones. Every 50 dream stones gets you a one-up, or you can get those coins. And/or these are mirror spirits, which, remember how I said there were 150 dream stones per stage? Well, these count for that. When you hit one, it doubles every dream stone you hit. So you actually have to collect them, as I'm doing right now, collect as many as possible, because they took that into consideration. You don't get all those dream stones, and too bad, man. You don't get the 100% completion. And when I say you need to get 150 dream stones, I mean all in a row, in one go. Now, the dream stones you have are saved when you've hit a checkpoint. But yeah, that's the first vision clear. Then we have our map here, where a part of the main theme is played for every single citizen that you find. And this is a neat little thing they didn't have to do, where they have these flying creatures you'll see later in the game, just popping la-lakoosha eggs for fireworks. This will go on as long as you don't press the A button. But once you do that, you move on. Now, this game is available on pretty much every single system you can imagine. And hey, see? I got every single dreamstone in the first stage. You can tell because there is a crown symbol here and a gold medal for there. That shows that I got absolutely everything there. I 100%ed Vision 1-1. So yes, if you want 100% this game, You have to do what I just showed. And as you saw, every Dreamstone I collected counted because I had exactly 150. Not a moment more. You want 100% that stage, you have to do what I just did. But we'll move on to Division 1-2 here. I think I'll just play the first world of each game so you can see how this works. And we have the Diva and the Dark Spirit. Interesting. Wow, that was stupid. Now, you might be thinking, hey, why don't you just take that Moo and go over to here? Well, I said this was a puzzle platformer. Inflated enemies can only be brought when the ceiling isn't too low. And in this case, the ceiling is blocking me from being able to take this enemy and go over here. Don't worry though, there is another path to get to here. Or you could always super jump if you're lazy. But we'll take this and move down here. And we have a mere spirit, so... Oh, dang it, no. As you can see, it can get pretty intense trying to get all the Dreamstones, and hopefully I didn't mess it up, because they are very strict about that. They actually thought of nearly everything. There are very few stages in the game where you can get more than 150 Dreamstones, and you'd have to be an insane ace player to do it. But I've done it in Lunatea's Veil before, and the original version on Wii. Okay, you knock it off. As you can see, this game, it doesn't mess around. It will kick your butt. And remember that hard mode there. All those times I've gotten hit by accident or anything, that would have been my end if I was playing hard mode. It just would have been over. So, this game can be as hard or easy as you want it to be, which is much appreciated. And you never know what's around, though I'm 90% sure there's nothing down that chasm except a cliff. Excuse me. Oh, shoot. Darn it. As you can see here, I could have been able to get that hard if I hadn't beaten up all those guys, but since I did, sorry, messed up. Puzzle platformer, everyone, that's how it works. And the game constantly mixes things up, like this little minecart ride here. Of course, since there are Dreamstones on this path, if you want to get 100% completion, you better be paying attention, because you miss even one, and too bad. Gotta try again. But yes, all this nice music you've been hearing, it's ripped right out of the original games, because the music has always been just that good. Very impressive. How about you move? Because I think this is an extra path. Yes, I would most definitely take that. These spikers are kind of the equivalent of like Gordos and Kirby. Okay, I think this is the path forward, actually. Well, no, maybe not, actually. Yeah, it takes some time of just, like, thinking things through, and now we have a big moo here. Now, big moos are special. You can hit them, and they will inflate, and you can just bounce on them, use them as, like, platforms. Or you can hit them, and they'll drop Dreamstones. Every big moo, except for one later in this first game, drops Dreamstones. Ah, I see. Now, just to show how this is gonna get pretty difficult. Dang it! And I officially messed up to get 100%. That's all it takes. Legit. Because I was definitely supposed to get all these dream stones in one go, but sadly I collected some stuff that I shouldn't have. But you can pop them with your wind bullet to free them, as well as throw an inflated enemy their way. And you can even take inflated enemies through doors, which is great for puzzle solving. And trust me, there are some devious puzzles that will use that to their advantage. So, just pay attention. Ow, why? But yes, to be honest, the Klonoa series are some of my favorite platforms I've ever played. We even have hidden non-Poco eggs like this, so just keep your eyes open. You never know what you'll find. These platformers are just absolutely amazing. They're so well designed, so fun, and they reward exploration so well without being very stubborn at. And they constantly change things up, like this enemy we see here, who shoots these spike balls. But oh wait, I think that's probably something. But I won't worry about it for now. Keep your eyes peeled. Like that. And luckily, you can usually tell if you're missing something. Because if you look, when that thing showed up, and this on the side, you can see that one is in between, so there must be one around here somewhere that I just straight up haven't seen. Maybe it's this way? Possibly. Yep, there it is. And voila! I found another Poco egg with a 1-up. Very cool. But I know it may look real simple now, but trust me, this game can get really hard, and the sequel cranks things up to an even bigger notch. But here, now we get to see our villains of this game, Gaudius and Joka. Joka might seem like the type of character where it's just like, he's the comic relief. And I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, but let's just say there's more to people like this than meets the eye. Now he's talking about basically destroying the world, imprisoning Laphise in darkness so that she can't save it with her Song of Rebirth, and plunging the world into darkness and destruction. Now again, if you don't care about these scenes, aka shame on you, you can always skip them or speed through them. Keep in mind these cutscenes will play whenever you return to a stage though, so you may want to skip them just for that reason. But that's up to you. You can actually earn something after you beat the game that allows you to rewatch every cutscene at your leisure, so... And again, that applies for both games. And it looks like Joka has noticed that we're around. Well, technically Guy is noticed, but Joka's the one who's taking control of the situation. Yeah, like that line right there, that was not from the PlayStation version. That's kind of a fusion of the PlayStation line and the Wii line. So we're getting the best of both worlds. This is by far and above the definitive edition of both games in this version. We get all of the positives without the negatives from the original. In the case of Dora Phantomile and Lunatea's Veil, well, it just looks and performs better than its original. Now, Joka gave us a hint of telling Rongo Lango here to watch out for his behind, and that's because it's his weakness. Don't worry, the later bosses are not going to be so obvious. But this is our first boss. Every 2 visions, you'll encounter a boss. And wow, I guess I was a little late. That's interesting. But as the bosses are taking damage, they'll come up with new tactics. Like this here. I could beat Rongo Lango a lot faster, but as you can see, first boss, no big deal. Typical stuff. Oh, I think I'm like 5 Dreamstones shy of 100% or something like that. But the game starts out super easy, super simple, and not much in terms of story at first glance, but all of this will come into play very much later in the game. And for those of you who continue to keep saying like, oh, this is a game meant specifically for kids, the story's never gonna go that far. All I have to say on that without spoiling is just play until a scene where Klonoa is crossing a bridge to go back home and meet his grandpa. If you play to that point, let's just say you will see something that will change the entire tone of the game in the blink of an eye. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to spoil anything. I know these games are really old, but honestly, there's a lot of people out there who have never played these games, and I don't want to be the ones to ruin the story for them. No way. So, Klonoa's been told to go to Forlock Forest and tell their granny about this. Fun fact, in the Wii version, it was renamed the Chiefess. I kind of prefer that name, but whatever. To figure out about the pendant and the mystical Moon Kingdom heard of in legend. But that's enough of Door to Phantomile right now. You got a general idea of what that's like. Now, the beginning of Lunatea's Veil is gonna seem really weird if you haven't played through Door to Phantomile, so I would highly suggest you play through that first, not only because Lunatea's Veil is way harder and definitely expects you to know your stuff by this point, but also the story does continue in a roundabout way. So we'll just head off to the title here. And simply pressing the back button allows me to go back to the main tile screen and choose our next game. For Lunatea's Veil. And if you're wondering why Klonoa looks different, well, his design was updated in Lunatea's Veil. They could have used that same kind of design for Door to Phantomile like what the Wii version did, but they're going for authenticity with this collection. So they're trying to be as authentic to the original games while updating them for modern audiences as possible. And I appreciate that. But yeah, you can scroll through these various hints during loading screens, though most of the time loading screens finish so fast you likely won't even be able to read one hint. But sometimes you'll be able to scroll through multiple ones. Interesting that they removed the sound of Klonoa running and the wind sound that was in the original. I own the original, so I should know. And like before, we're gonna go for a new file. And as you can see here, the same thing applies for easy as I discussed on this game, but on normal, they, interestingly enough, decided to give you only 3 health, and from then on forward, in the GBA games, they also give you only 3 health, so this became the norm. It works better than you might think. But again, this music is right from the original.
That's why they were forgotten dreams. Is it a dream I can't remember? Is it a dream I won't remember? Have I forgotten the dream? Has the dream forgotten me? But there surely was a dream.
We got some Kingdom Hearts level of mysterious text here. But trust me, the stuff you're seeing here, it makes more sense when you play through Door to Phantomile. I would skip this cutscene, but fortunately it doesn't spoil too much. But we have some kind of mysterious figure asking for help, and Klonoa is in a new land, Lunatea. And as you can see, we begin in a very different way from Door to Phantomile, as we're in a stormy sea as opposed to a pleasant plains of the Wind Village breeze gale. And we have some mysterious people overlooking us. In case you're wondering, these are Liarina and Tat. Tat being the cat there. Now, interesting thing about Klonoa 2, as you can see here, is that there are certain sequences where you press the button to move forward, letting you be able to take as long as you need to read the text. They didn't do that in the Door to Phantomile remake because, well, it's based off of the Wii version. And these are 2 interesting characters that just showed up. Can't risk dropping the ring. So they're after Klonoa's ring? Yeah, very different setup we have here. And very different characters as well. Pupo's nowhere to be found. Again, there's a reason for that. I won't spoil it. So, Klonoa's ring doesn't have anything powering it. And we have a completely different language being spoken from Phantomilian. So these are Lolo, a priestess in training, and Popka, her partner. Popka, of course, as I mentioned, is the one who helps you in 2-player. The Dream Traveler. Huh. Uh-oh. Yeah, not letting us be able to talk things out here. We don't know what's going on. We're just kind of thrust right into it. And now Lolo, as a priestess, she can enter the ring and be able to cause it to use the wind bullet. So she's taking on the role that Hupo took on previously. And as you can see here, Popka is pretty outspoken. And can say some pretty wise guy things. He's a fun character. I like him. Welcome to the Sea of Tears. A very, very different start from what we have here. But there are familiar stuff like moves here. And you might notice that the game looks somewhat similar to Door the Phantomile. That was not the case before, not at all. But for this remastered collection, they decided to make the style be closer to the same thing. And just in case this is your first time, Popka instructs you on, well, how to play. Like in this case, he's gonna tell me about double jumping with a inflated enemy. Aww, I love how cute this sleepy moon looks. He's just minding his own business. But he picked the wrong place to relax. Well, Noah's pretty outspoken too, being like, hey, I already knew that I could double jump. What are you talking about? That's the moment doll part I was referring to. So, instead of citizens, we have these new things. What are they exactly? Get far enough in the game and you'll find out. And we have these now, which allow us to jump off of them again. This game really brought a lot of what will be considered staples in the series into play for good. We even have these cannons, which send us to other areas around the background and stuff. And we can collect that. But oh, I see a Nagapoko egg there. And let's pop that so we can get a full heal we totally didn't need. Oh well, it's the thought that counts. Now, you can't bring inflated enemies in the cannons, they'll just pop. But just like before, we can hit this guy, jump on him, and be able to double jump off of stuff. It's the Klonoa you know and love. Play a new game, and just as before, pop the giant moo, and we'll get 5 Dreamstones. Although one of those is now a big Dreamstone, so they're actually worth even more than they were in the original. And then there are these boxes that you need to throw inflated enemies at to get rid of them. Yeah, instantly they're showing off a whole lot of new ideas in this game. And we go over here, there's this cool little sequence here. Don't worry, you won't get hit. That's just a fun sequence. But yeah, ow! Oh, I just realized I was gonna show off the costumes. Whoops. Alright, I promise I'll do that in the next vision. But yeah, in Door the Phantomile, every 2 visions, you'll encounter a boss at the end of the second vision. which ends that Vision's world. Can I please play a little more smart? And here, we get onto this flying bird creature, which does have dreamstones along the path, so make sure you collect them, because if you miss anything, you've lost your chance to get 100%. Just as before, only in Lunatea's Veil, it's even harder. And we have this awesome new music playing. Wait a little while, we got this move here, so we can get that. And there's a hidden non-Poco egg directly underneath it that gives us our next Moment Doll. I guess I could have brought a Moo with me, but I don't think it's necessary. And your fairy, so go, 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 go! I think that was fast enough. It felt fast enough. Now I'll pop this egg so I can get the Moment Doll piece. And you'll never be left without a Moo in an area that you need to progress in, or enemy in general. It might not be a Moo. But despite being the sequel to Door to Phantomile, you can see that this game has a very different vibe. Ow! I did not see that flying move for some reason. Yes, it has a very different vibe from what we got with Door to Phantomile. Now, a little tip from someone who did actually 100% Lunatea's Veil once upon a time. If you miss a Dreamstone, then you can always purposely die so that you can have a second shot. That was weird. Also, there's a lot more cutscenes in Lunatea's Veil than compared to Door to Phantomile. And now Popka's telling me to ring the bell, so I could wander around and look around, but there's not really much to see, so ring the bell I shall. Looks like Lola's pretty excited about that. We're gonna find out why real quick. She did say she was a priestess in training. Ah, if you can make it ring, you're a full priestess, so it proves that... Well, it was a little too exuberant for Popka's taste. And we're being introduced to just a whole bunch of new characters right out of the gate. None of the characters we saw from Door to Phantomile are anywhere to be found. And of course, we're in Lunatea now. And yes, you heard him say Lunatea very clearly. I told you I was right. So any of you who were chastising me about like, no, it's Lunatea or something. Oh no, I know my Klonoa. Don't try to correct me. I've been playing these games longer than most of you have known about them. But we go to Baguji's Island here, which, interestingly enough, is not a stage, but just a series of cutscenes. Again, same rules apply from the previous thing. If you want to skip cutscenes, you can, or if you want to speed through them, you can. Nothing wrong with it. Now, unlike Door to Phantomile, which had a new translation, the script for this game is identical to its original version. That's how good the script was for the Lunatea's Veil to begin. They didn't need to rewrite it. After all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Now he's talking about that there are spirit bells throughout the 4 kingdoms of Lunatea. But he's talking about a 5th bell that is not meant to appear, being about to come into fruition. A bell of darkness, a bell of chaos. Definitely a different vibe, for sure. And since Lolo's only an apprentice priestess, sorry, she's not being affected by the strange things that are affecting all the other priestesses. Convenient, but hey, I'll take it. At least they have a decent excuse. I've seen much worse descriptions on other games. So... Oh. Looks like Baguji is telling Lolo she has what it takes to become a full priestess now. Oh! Poor Vodka. That looked like it hurts. But yeah, this game gives a better indication of showing that not all is as it seems in the world of Klonoa. And now we're off to la-lakoosha. Sacred grounds. Yeah, unlike Door to Phantomile, when we get into 2 visions back to back in this game, they may not necessarily be in the same kind of setting. Oh, see that. Might be useful, or maybe not. You never know. And there are enemies like this guy here that can't be defeated. You just have to watch out for them. And we got a box here. Double jump to break it. It's the only way. And yeah. As you can see here, they're not rewriting the wheel, but they reinventing the wheel here. The original Klonoa did a good job of establishing the formula. This game is just adding to it. And I would hope that a future Klonoa games would take that same kind of mentality. Because yes, hopefully, one of the reasons you should really buy the Phantasy Reverie series is because, well, you know, in this world with the companies, money talks. So, if Bandai Namco see this game gets a lot of sales, that's gonna be what they'll be looking for to confirm that people do want to see this brought back. Now, how will I get that Dreamstone? Well, a bit of strategic jumping there, and boop, easy enough. So yeah, it's all about just paying attention. But trust me, some of those advanced maneuvers like what I just did, that'll be mandatory at certain points. So, hope your platforming game's on point, because this game has a tendency to really test it. I'm just gonna finish la-lakoosha here. We're going into an hour in terms of the video, so I need to be hurrying this up a little more. So I'm gonna be a little more reckless, taking a little less time doing stuff. Preferably not reckless to the point where I hurt myself, but you know. Watch out. And here we go. Now you'll notice that stages in Lunatea's Veil are noticeably longer than the ones in Door to Phantomile. Which of course means more secrets to hide. So just keep your eyes peeled. And for here, follow that move, but not too closely, because it's a trap. However, as you can see, he's in the process of eating said meal. So, he'll ignore Klonoa because he's too busy chomping down. Believe me, that's a puzzle that will come into play numerous times. Now that they've introduced it, they're gonna keep using it until they've done it enough. Now, I'm hoping to finish the video off if I can be fast enough with showing the main reason you'd want to pay $20 for the special bundle. Which I should mention right now that in terms of the special bundle, for some reason on the eShop, you kinda have to look for it. At this point, it's not in the DLC section, even if you look under this game's profile. I only found it by searching the name Klonoa, and it popped up right away. So if you want to get it, show even more support like I did, well, that's how you do it. I don't know why Nintendo didn't make it super easy to get to it, but it is what it is, I guess. But I need to hurry this up, because I was hoping to show some stuff from of the main reason you'd want to get the special bundle. Maybe I'll make an additional video, because I'm not sure I'll even be able to have the time to fight the boss, fight the first boss at this point, to be honest. Aw, dang it, I messed up. Dang it, I really messed up. Oh well. Moving on, we won't worry about it. But yeah, as you can see here, this game can get pretty tricky already. And this is just the beginning. It's gonna get way, way harder. But I'll finish this stage and I think I'll probably call it, because I don't think I have the time for the first boss, unfortunately. Shame. But I get to show this cool thing off, which is that this is an interesting puzzle. You actually need to hit this in the background. Sorry, I should jump. And it will break these pillars that would otherwise be blocking your way. That's some interesting ideas we haven't really seen in a platformer before, have we? Time it right, and there we go. And I can hit that. I know I missed a moment all piece or two, but at this point I need to hurry up. This video's running long. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll make a follow-up video, like, immediately, that shows off the main reason you'd want the special bundle. An additional app that is a digital art book and soundtrack, because nobody else has shown that off, so I'd like to be the first. So we'll let this cutscene play. Hopefully it will end in time that I'll be able to make it all happen, but if not, we'll cut it short. But I guess I'll do my outro. So yeah, I would highly encourage anyone who's even remotely interested to buy this game. And to be honest, there's a demo for it available. So you literally have no harm in trying this out. And if you even remotely like what you've seen or what you experienced in the demo, which I believe everything I played is in the demo, to be honest. I don't know that for sure, but I would kind of be surprised if it wasn't. But yes, there is a demo available for free, and I would highly suggest you guys try it and buy this game. Show your support for this series, because it deserves to come back. Big time. And I hope I've shown you exactly why this series is so good without spoiling anything, because there is a lot to spoil. And to all my viewers, subscribers, and overall fans out there, until the next time, thank you so much for your continued support, and as always, may the stars shine down on you. One final note, the bosses in this game actually are their own separate stages. Just thought I'd mention that since you're not gonna get the chance to actually see me fight it. But we are gonna get to finish the cutscene, so that's cool. Alright. So as I was saying, as always, thank you so much for your continued support, and until next time, may the stars shine down on you. Please buy Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series, you won't regret it.